Hello, and welcome to session one of Masks: A New Generation. We're calling this playthrough Halcyon by Gaslight. It is Masks: A New Generation, but set in the 1890s. Because, I don't know, it seemed like a good idea at the time. I'm the MC, Kyle, he, they. If we could go around and just introduce everyone, introduce the players, your name, pronouns, any background if you want to blurb anything, and then we can go through and start introducing the players. Oh, but before I forget, this was organized through the Gauntlet, an online gaming community that you can find at gauntlet-rpg.com. I believe, yes? I can never remember the URL. Yep, gauntlet-rpg.
Gauntlet-RPG.
Great. So going in character keeper order, Alexi.
Hey there, Alexi Sargent, he, him. You can follow all my gaming endeavors online at Cloven Pine Games. So check out Cloven Pine Games on Twitter and check out my itch.io store where I've got a number of games of my design up for free or for a very little bit of money. You can pick up these bits of game design I've done.
Great. Next we've got Joe.
Joe, they, them. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's Joe, J-O_CRAK. I tweet about games and wrestling and lots of stuff that's annoying me at the time. Yeah.
Fair enough. Next we've got Leandro.
It's Leandro, don't worry. That's fine. You're not first, you won't be the last. This is what happens when you move halfway across the world to another country. You learn. You learn to expect that. Anyway, hi, my name's Leandro. You see him pronouns, and not much to plug other than I guess Twitter. I don't tweet at all. It's lpondoc, LPONDOC, and I guess I'll keep plugging podcast Me and Some Friends did. It's an actual play of Ross Kalman's Fall of Magic, which is a story about magic dying in a fantasy world and a bunch of colorful characters going on a journey across this lovely map to go find out why. The podcast is called Flight of Magic. It's really great. Great soundtrack. My friend Devin edited and scored the whole thing because apparently he had nothing better to do during the summer. But it came out really great. So check out Flight of Magic wherever you may find your podcasts.
Awesome. Pearl.
Looks frozen.
Yeah, I think it froze.
I was like, nope, she hasn't moved, so.
Oh dear.
It's that cosmic phenomenon thing.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sure she'll rejoin as soon as everything started.
Should be fine. So I'd prefer to wait to introduce all the characters before, or I'd prefer to wait till
we are player intros were pretty quick. Do you want to just stop the recording, start it up again when Pearl's back, and just we do light? Oh no, it'd be terrible if they find out that this is an actual play where we deal with tech issues and whatnot.
And we have no editor.
It's not hard to edit, y'all.
Hey, welcome back, Pearl.
Welcome back. It was your turn to introduce yourself, if you're ready.
I think so. Are we doing just personal introductions or character introductions or both?
Just personal. We'll go around and do a character next.
Okay. I am Pearl. I use she and her pronouns. I seem to be having internet difficulties today, so I apologize in advance if I drop again. I don't know what everybody else said, after Alexi because my internet stopped. So I can confirm that Cloven Pine Games is really good to check out. Their games are really neat. And I like all of these other players a lot, so you should keep watching despite the tech issues.
All right, that works. So Alexi, back to you. Care to give a quick, summary of Gideon Rookwood? By the way, is that his cape name?
No, that's his civilian name. I haven't decided if he has an alternate superhero identity. So Gideon Rookwood is the Doomed. He has haunted eyes, wears unassuming clothing but a grim costume. And yeah, the abilities I picked were telekinesis, body transmutation, and psychic constructs. I think largely that takes the form of him turning into a flock of assorted birds. These are not normal birds. They're like jet black, eyeless magic birds. And all of this started happening when he foolishly put on a ring in his uncle's house. This was a very bad idea because his uncle is, as it turns out, an evil wizard. His uncle Thaddeus Rookwood is also known as the Mage of Crows, and now Gideon has this ring stuck on and cannot it can't be removed. He has these powers, but he also seems to be slowly dispersing and just becoming this flock of birds instead of a normal teenager like he would prefer to be. He now can use his uncle's house as a sanctuary because the other wizards kind of hounded his uncle, and now his uncle's on the run from the whole magical community because, as I said before, he's an evil wizard. So someone has to make up for the magical harm that this family has caused, and so Gideon's going to try to do that before he is fully dispersed and becomes just a bunch of birds. Anything else? Anything else I should cover there?
I have a question. Oh, go ahead. Of course.
No, go ahead, Pearl.
When you're a flock of birds, do you try to wear a trench coat to look like a person, like all the different birds?
I feel like he's mostly tried to pull himself back together, right, and reincorporate with partial success, right? That basically he can use these powers and then partially come back together, but then there's still a couple birds out there, and he's a little thinner, right? And he's worried about the direction this is trending.
Okay, so he's not like a bird swarm.
He is a bird swarm when he's fully kind of unleashing his powers, I'd say.
So, are the wizards very active in crime fighting, or was Thaddeus just that bad?
I think he was giving them a bad name, right? I don't think the wizards are invested in crime fighting. I think they just decided Thaddeus had gone too far and needed to be stopped, and so they evicted him from his home, and he's kind of on the run, laying low from the attention of the wizards.
Cool. Another question for you. You're playing the Doomed, and we've got 5 sessions in this, so we're probably not going to hit all of your fill your Doom track all the way to the end. Do you want me to try? I mean, I'm happy to just throw Doom sign at you.
Yeah, I am also willing to just lean really hard into doominess and see how far we can get.
All right then. Next we've got Joe with La Rouge Renard, if I'm pronouncing French anywhere close to right.
I guess. I'm not actually French. I don't know. Yeah, La Rouge Renard, a.k.a. secretly Angelique Boucher. She's the beacon. She's wears bright colors of reds and greens and pixie boots. She uses slingshot with some trick pellets and acrobatic skills. She's gonna fight. She's gonna sock one right in the kisser of crime. Except 1800 slang. It's way different. It's so hard to pronounce.
Challenge crime to or give crime a thrashing with the fisticuffs and whatnot.
I'll baste this turkey.
Sounds good. And we've got Leandro with Squall.
Yeah, known to her friends, or to anyone who knows her secret identity as Nellie Coleman. Although she doesn't really make it a bit of a secret identity, she's using the protege playbook. She is essentially a small town girl who was living in a lonely world, took the midnight train going anywhere, ended up in Halcyon City to like make something herself. Ended up working in a newspaper and cross paths with the superhero known as Black Moth, who is kind of like basically Victorian lesbian Batman, who's a detective lady who's good at gadgets, whatnot. Basically, Nellie got caught in a fracas between her and her arch enemy, Dr. Solar. He was causing some sort of scheme, and Nellie ended up with basically having to be saved by Black Moth, and with an array of like just weird elemental control powers. And also what Black Moth didn't expect is that Nellie's a big fan of her. So basically kind of like it's a combination of, okay, you've got these weird powers, you clearly need help, also you're kind of smart, I guess, since you chased down Dr. Solar for the newspaper and ended up here, so I'll take you on. I've got responsibility. And yeah, that's how Squall ended up under the mentorship of Black Moth. Basically, our shared skill set is detective abilities, detective skills. The one that my mentor has that I don't, weapons and gadgets, and the powers that I have as elemental control, which is, lots of some barely barely capable control over wind and air and whatnot. So that's gonna be fun. Nellie's trying her best. That's the main thing.
Sounds great. Pearl, are you ready to introduce your character? We can give you more time if you'd like.
I believe I am generally ready. I had a formatting issue just now, but I think that does not. I feel like I know who she is, so that's just a formatting nonsense. Yes, well, it's lovely to meet everyone. I'm Brevencia Freeze, inventress extraordinaire, and I am here in the city mostly just trying to do good things. For some reason, most of the things that I do have the side effect of producing toast. I don't know why. Even when there are no toasting devices involved, it started when I was a toddler. It was actually when we first realized that I was a genius. Did I mention that I'm a genius? Because I am. And when I was a toddler, I used a bunch of toys and a tea kettle to create a working steam engine that also somehow made buttered toast. And that's when my parents realized my potential, and they had me mentor under a variety of smart people who all got tired of their houses being full of toast eventually. So I've been working on my own for a while until I found this wonderful team. Basically, I'm just, trying to create things to benefit humanity. I don't know that any of them have had a huge impact yet, but I've made a size change device, and I have a robotic sidekick, Delilah, who could do all kinds of things as long as you don't mind when toast comes with them. Mostly, I try to make gadgets and investigate things. I don't have a lot of the cool things that my teammates do, I will admit. It seems like they are all very special and have inherent abilities that I do not. But I can try to simulate some of those things with toast. I mean, with gadgets. And I'm hoping to be a benefit to everyone and to make up for things in my past that were not, well, we just won't talk about it. It's things we don't talk about, but we're trying to make sure that we have a net benefit on the world.
All right.
Oh, and she has a bird, which possibly Mr. Rookwood would like to meet the bird, or maybe he doesn't like birds. I'm not quite sure. But said bird doesn't really do much other than keep me company, because sometimes people steer clear when I'm inventing. They say it's for their own safety. I don't think anyone's in any danger. But I do have a questionably clear macaw named Lobster, who just provides commentary.
So you have, as the brain playbook, you have a shame, a cosmic phenomenon in your case.
Said we don't talk about it.
That being said, it's probably going to come up in play at least a bit.
Yes, it will. I am sure it will. Yes.
Any details you'd like to share?
Well, I once had the good fortune of seeing the Northern Lights, and I thought, those should just be around all the time. They're very pretty. So I set about trying to create a permanent set of Northern Lights, which I did. Is sort of, they are there. You can't miss them. And they are very pretty. And also, they occasionally rain toast. But unfortunately, in addition to sometimes raining toast, they also sometimes rain horrible electrical storms on parts of the city. And we're not really at a time. I foresee one day that humans will really harness the power of electricity to such an extent that maybe they could do something about that. Who knows? But at the moment, we are not so equipped to handle giant electrical storms that come out of nowhere accompanied by toast. And it's done some damage. But like I said, really prefer to stick to other. I've made many things we could talk about that aren't that.
Sounds good. So we'll need to decide on what your team did, like what, obstacle antagonist you overcame when you first came together. And then I'll have a couple extra questions for all of you just to, put that all out there. So who are you thinking you fought first? Like what brought your team together? Any ideas?
There's a villain in Le Rouge Renard's backstory questions, right?
True. Do we go through the backstory first, or the one our team first came together first?
You know what?
Yeah. Isn't there also an order to read?
Let's do the backstory first, I suppose. Let's see.
I know the brain messes the order.
I beg your pardon? Something about the brain?
No, the order with the extra playbooks, they're not in they never updated read this question in this order.
I will. I trust Kyle to slot the brain in an appropriate spot. Kyle, what would you like?
Let's start with the backstory questions. Rookwood, I think you already talked about how you first learned of your doom with the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And how you got your sanctuary, and why you oppose the. Actually, question: is your nemesis your uncle or?
Yes,
okay.
He is. Yeah, Thaddeus. Uncle Thad is no longer on good terms with me, and I feel I must oppose him to do something good before this cursed ring that I put on spells the end of me. Who outside of the team is crucial to defeating your nemesis is one of these questions, and I decided that the answer is Felicity Spence, who's a young witch tasked by the Wizard Parliament with magically observing Uncle Thad, and I've convinced her to help me keep an eye out for him as well. So she's my, because the thing is, Gideon Rookwood is not himself a wizard, right? Like, he has a cursed ring, he's turning into ravens, he can do some things with that curse, but he doesn't know how to magic. So my kind of insight into the magical side of the city is Felicity, because she's the one who's supposed to be detecting what Thaddeus is up to, and letting the wizards know if he gets into any trouble. And the last question I have is, why do you care about the team? And I said they seem full of pluck and hope, and I could use a bit of that.
So, couple questions. What's your relationship like with Felicity? Like, does she tolerate you? What's she thinking?
I think she pities me, and that's not what I want per se, right? But if it means that she will assist me with dealing with Uncle Thad and righting the wrongs that he's done, then that I can work with.
Cool. And roughly how much magic stuff generally happens? I mean, there will always be some magical villains, a few magic heroes, but just is it an everyday thing, fairly rare for the average Protein City person?
I think Gideon did not believe in magic before he stumbled into all this by just putting on this ring that was just hanging out on like a little ebony plinth in his uncle's house. He's like, oh, what's this? And then suddenly all of this got opened up to him. So I think there's a sort of magic side of city, but are able to sort of close their eyes to it if they don't believe in it. It doesn't sort of force itself into the public eye, except perhaps when Uncle Thad did some nefarious spell, and that's why the wizards are so angry at him.
Sounds good. All right, let's go to Joe. You're La Rouge Renard. I'm just gonna call her Renard because I can say that word.
Fine.
Renard, let's see, her backstory questions are...
Yep, let's see. Scrolling. How did you gain your skills? Hard work and determination. And also I'm an heiress, so like family has money, so I was able to, use that money on specific tutors that trained me in things I wanted. One of these tutors being who I learned was the heroine, the Scarlet Sparrow. So, and then my handmaid Suzette helps me develop my little capsules, my exploding capsules that I shoot with the slingshot, because she always wanted to be a scientist, but the world is sexist.
Yes.
When I first put on the costume, I've been doing it for a couple of years. It was the scourge of the Parisian rooftops before moving to Halcyon City for reasons, because that's where we are set. Let's see. Who outside the team thinks I shouldn't be a superhero? My nemesis, Cat's Paw. She's trying to get me to join her in a life of crime. Not going to happen. You should stop committing crimes. Why do I try to be a hero? This question doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't I be a hero? This is befuddling. Would you rather I be a villain or just laze around in the parlor all day? Absurd.
So I gotta ask, how much of what Renard does she do to genuinely help people, or how much of it is just for the thrill of it?
It's 50-50.
Always nice.
Yeah. Like, why would I mean, if I didn't enjoy doing it, I probably wouldn't do it. But why do I care about the team? Are we not all allied together in righting the wrongs of the underworld? We're cut of the same jib. Of course I care about them. They have my back and I have theirs. And also, free toast.
Nice answer. Now, there are some... you're the only unpowered member of the team.
Well, I think technically the brain is just unpowered, right? Isn't that what she said?
I can't super science as a power, personally, but...
Oh. That's fair. I think she's just well educated.
So I think you've probably run into the most well-known unpowered hero in Halcyon City, Sure Shot. a fairly short and incredibly well-mannered woman who has incredibly accurate with her marksmanship that she has to tell people, no, really, I'm not magic. How do you get along with Sure Shot?
I feel like there's well, again, how long has Sure Shot been doing it? I guess.
About 15 years at this point.
She's probably like, oh, come on, you should be doing this. No, do it. She's judgmental because, like, oh, you're gonna take my thing with a slingshot. She is she's quite impertinent.
Renard is to Sure Shot, or Sure Shot is to
No,
Renard?
Sure Shot is to me.
Okay. Makes
How
sense.
dare she judge me for my choices?
Okay, and next we've got Squall.
Yeah.
You said how you met, the Black Mothball busting Dr. Solar.
Yes. Basically, there was like some lead because I was working for the Halcyon Herald at this point. I was interning there, and the most they give me is like a write up of these one par funny dirty stories about dogs skiing, that sort of thing. I don't know if they had that in the 1890s, but it's probably a hoot. And it was like, no, I'm gonna find my own stories. I'm gonna prove myself to to this newspaper. And I was chasing down this suspicious activity at these warehouses. Hopefully they had warehouses in 1860. No, actually no, a stage. Yeah, probably like a big warehouse. Yeah, let's just stick to a warehouse, sure. And
Every era has had warehouses. As long as
enough.
there are wares that need to be housed.
I was about to type, it's okay. There's always warehouses.
As long as time is gone, there's been a warehouse. Yeah, and this one was housing Dr. Solar's latest like scheme. And basically I'm not exactly sure what the scheme is. Probably something about sucking up the sun, because he's obsessed with that thing, the sun. Yeah. And yeah, Black Moth came in to bust up this scheme of his. And there was a moment when it looked like the machine was going to be like turned on by one of his goons, and I tried to get in between that goon and the machine, and stuff happened, and woke up in Black Moth's care, and her like in her, I guess, lair. I suppose she has a lair.
The moth cave.
The moth cave. Yeah. And yeah, I might have needed some saving, and yeah, Black Moth sure as heck saved me.
So, out of curiosity, what kind of villain is Dr. Solar? Like a mad scientist type, or what?
He's definitely a mad scientist type. He's the kind who would try to suck up the sun to power his schemes. 40% to power his schemes, 60% just to prove he can. That sort of, I can I can bring the sun down because I can do it. I know I can do it. I can see it clearly. That kind of villain. I don't know how he keeps his organization well funded. He just keeps coming back with goons. It's weird.
So yeah, Black Moth agreed to train you because you seemed like the type to just keep running into trouble.
yeah. She decided to ensure, like, look, if I'm gonna do this, I need to be like a proper hero with the right skills and know-how. And I said I wasn't gonna say no to that, but I think I probably broached the idea first before she did. And yeah, and also this kind of ties into the other question, which is who else outside the team knows about my training. That person is Holly Veranda, who is like this gregarious chief reporter for the Halcyon Herald, who I'm pretty sure is Black Moth's ex. She has a lot of yeah, they have weird interactions. They interact like they know each other much better than I thought. And also like Holly's kind of like the person I'm staying with. Um, taking me on. No, not many people let like just a teenager just like rent a room by themselves.
Have you seen Holly Veranda and Black Moth in the same place at the
Yes,
same time?
yes,
Okay.
yes, and it was uncomfortable.
All right.
I was sitting there being like, what are they talking? What is? Should I be closing my ears? What are they? Oh God. Don't worry, Kyle. You don't have to do that. Because they're two NPCs, and I did not make you talk to yourself. But yeah, no, they're clearly separate people.
That's good. All right. And why do you care about the team?
Yeah, well, they all seem terribly cool and capable, and I need to learn not just from the best, but from everyone else. I mean, Gideon is a bunch of birds. Le Rouge Renard has been doing this for quite some time. I've heard some of her exploits. Also, yeah, Millie is a big fan of the Penny Dreadfuls and the I guess what would be comic books back then, just like oh yeah, Joe asked like, yeah, we should do an
Time novels.
And Bravencia does a lot of toast and has a lot of weird exploits. Squall, I was gonna say it's like 15 or so.
Okay.
She's she's on the younger side of the scale.
What do going back to Gideon Rookwood, how old is he?
16, 17. Yeah.
Okay. Renard?
I was going like 19, 20.
Alrighty.
Nice. No powers, but you've got some experience on the rest of us.
I'm not less and less comfortable playing younger the older I get.
Me too, yeah. Pearl, how old is Bravencia Freeze? You're muted?
Bother. I think she's 18 or 19, right? So still a teenager as per masks.
Young adult. That's what the game's about. Young adults.
Yeah.
Alrighty. And a couple questions for Squall before we head over to Freeze's questions. So you described Black Moth as basically a lesbian Batman, which sounds fun, but Batman has been a lot of different, like Batman back in the days where people thought he might be an urban legend, or like no, there's a spotlight on the police department's roof that can signal her.
Probably more the former. I don't know if that she has a connection with the police. In fact, like I don't even know who she is. Like I know where her lair is, and I come by there. And
it's a hideout.
Teaches me stuff. Yeah, it's a hideout. Yeah, not
lair for
yes,
villains.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, different alignment. Yeah, like I know her place are hideout, or at least a hideout. I don't know. It's the hideout. This might be just a hideout that she has around. I don't know. She's very mysterious. I guess the more urban legend and Batman, for sure.
Sounds good. And
if she's anything like Batman and has gadgets, I think that the combination of things you've described means that Bravencia has a humongous crush on her.
It's same.
Yeah.
Oh, I should just confirm. How old is Black Moth?
I don't know. She wears a mask. Well, no, actually, not a mask. I put a picture of some character art from Bloodborne in the NPCs and stuff. I mean, you can see her eyes for sure. She keeps like her mouth covered, but like I would put her like at least past 30. For sure.
Fair enough.
So
okay.
she's an adult hero and has influence on all of us.
Yes.
There we go.
And one other thing. So it's the 1890s. There is no federal Bureau of Investigation or federal crime justice team at all at the time. Closest we've got is the Pinkertons, who are, private eyes and infamous for their strike busting. Aegis, the equivalent, is a private security team. It's a subset of the Pinkerton Agency.
Oh.
The face of the team, Nightwatch, has definitely tried to recruit Black Moth at least some point or another, just to get those investigative skills on the team. How has Black Moth reacted?
And lots of not great. She prefers to operate by herself. A lot of like beat up mooks sent back to the Pinkertons. I honestly don't know how she's managed to operate for this whole time in secrecy. She must either be someone influential or know someone influential. But yeah, she's kind of like someone who doesn't like the Aegis Pinkertons for sure, and has kind of like told me, it's kind of imparted that kind of lesson. It's just like, don't lose yourself to an organization, know who you really the people you put your trust, you have to like really know them and trust them.
Sounds good. Okay. Now let's see. Breventia Freeze. Does she have a special cape name?
I think she would like one, but hasn't had the time to think of one because there are always things to be inventing, and she's secretly trying to figure out what the issue with the ring that Gideon Rookwood is wearing is. She wants to help. So she spends a lot of time talking to Lobster about it, but she just never got around to making a name. But she's hoping that like someone will give her one, because that seems like the coolest way to get a special name.
Sounds good.
Like after an action, you know what I mean?
Lady Clockwork.
Yeah, something cool
Or
like
Clockwork.
that. Yes, although she traffics more in toast than in clocks, but clocks do sound cooler than toast in a name, so she would accept it.
I was just trying to think, like, the stuff that you invent, like, what's the basis of, I guess.
That's the great thing. Everything is the basis.
All right.
It's extremely Rube Goldberg-esque is the vibe I'm getting.
Yes. Needlessly complicated is what most people would say, but everything is needed in everything she makes. If she has a 20-piece thing that all it does is open the door, so you don't have to do it yourself, all 20 pieces would be needed for it to succeed.
Of course, no unnecessary parts. Backups are for squares.
Yeah.
And that reference or that expression is about 100 years too old. It's anachronistic. And I think you've already answered most of your backstory questions about how you revealed your powers and why you work with the team and stuff.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if I've done all of them out loud. They're certainly in the keeper. Of course, you know a few of them, whether or not I would like you to.
Though I am curious, who helped you realize you need other people? Or is that...
The reason that's blank is because I couldn't remember whether it was supposed to be someone on the team or an NPC.
NPC, I believe.
Okay. I think... I don't know if this is legit, but if it is, I would love for it to be the Black Moth, actually, upon whom I have the giant crush. One of my gadgets misfired one time in a public place, and it wouldn't have like killed anyone, but it was like a bit of a scene. And she came in and she helped, and at first I was like, no, I'll handle it. Incredibly beautiful older woman of mothitude, and she like paused for a second and looked me right in the eye and said, "It's okay to need help, kid." And then she took care of it and was off, and I have never forgotten it.
Sounds good. Ooh, Miss Fire sounds like a good cape name.
It does. It's a bit odd given that my last name is Freeze.
Well, they don't know that, right? But it's like,
Through
are you
fire and
okay with that?
freeze.
As like the report is based off that one story of a misfire. I'm like, oh, misfire over here.
No. Provencia is much more respected than that. She's created many toast-bearing and useful things for society. But she could be called, like, Fire and Ice or something. And not mention why the fire part was there.
Let's go for like the Latin versions. Because Latin makes people sound smart.
Or Frozen Fire. I think that doesn't make sense, but she likes it.
We can figure it out. So I think it's time for the when our team first together or came together questions. Anyone want to spit shop or brainstorm I don't know what spit shop is, that's not a word. Brainstorm who you all fought in your first big outing together?
I'm up for us to fight either Dr. Solar or Cat's Paw, since we know those villainous baddies are around in the city.
Catspaw seems like a more personal sort of villain. That's so.
She's not like she's not like a big supervillain.
Yeah, she doesn't require a team.
Yeah, Dr. Solar seems like the sort of city-ending threat that would need a team together and stuff.
Or we could just make up a one-time person.
Yeah,
That works too.
Like a big one of those big automaton type things.
a giant spider.
Big robot
Wild,
spider.
Wild West.
The Atomic Terror.
Ooh.
Except
Adam,
whatever.
Atomic's a little.
That's why I was like,
anachronistic.
except not atomic or whatever.
Okay.
A giant steam-powered spider called Steel Web that was rampaging through the city, causing problems that we had to stop.
That sounds awesome. Okay, so the first question goes to the Doomed in this case.
Oh man, right off the bat. Yeah, my question is, we paid a high price for victory. What was it? That's good. Yeah, what's a good high cost for victory? I wonder if we needed to like use something that belonged to one of because we've got kind of a couple adult heroes in the mix that we rely on. Maybe we had to use a resource from one of them and destroyed it utterly in this battle. Does that seem like something along the right lines? Like, how does that sound as a starting point?
Sounds good to me.
So let me check. Leandro, are you up for us to have totaled the Mothmobile that Black Moth was letting you use?
I'm trying to think. It's one of the things that the mentor gives me is some resources. One of them was going to be a vehicle, but I can change that for something else. Apparently we totaled it.
I mean, you could be driving around, the new version after the one that we kind of messed up completely in the when the team first came together, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like a high cost if she can just give me another vehicle. It's not really a high price, would it?
Okay. Maybe the higher price is that we.
You could have embarrassed the established heroes, or maybe made an enemy of the Pinkertons or something.
Yeah, nuts to those Pinkos.
Yeah. Just combining things. Maybe part of the fight did involve some reckless driving in this Mothmobile, but the Mothmobile itself scraped through, but the Pinkerton cars we like plowed through along the way did not, and we've managed to earn their enmity. That works for me.
Oh yeah, and these horseless carriages, they ain't cheap or easy to get by.
They are not. So there is no listed order for where the brain answers their question, but let's go ahead and put you next.
I just found one.
Oh.
Or a suggested order of brain goes after protege, but before beacon, and then harbinger would be the last one, but there's no harbinger. So
in that case, let's stick to that order and go to protege next. So protege, we stuck together after all was said and done. Why? How did we keep in contact?
Let's see. I mean, I think part of why we stuck together is because we all really chilled as a group. I shouldn't make that gesture again. That's anachronistic. I think we did really amazingly well. Beyond busting the Pinkertons car. I mean, you're all in my mentor's vehicle. There was probably a moment where we were all riding on that. And yeah, like how do we keep in contact? Well, one of the other resources Mentor gave me is a hidden base, which is always neat. I'm kind of imagining it's some sort of like clearing place for us, like okay, here's we can like meet up, and I guess I'm trying to figure out how to keep contact in 1890s newspaper ads, maybe something like that.
There'd be a lot of mail drops, several a day. So
and now I have access to. I imagine for some reason the Halcyon Herald has like this nice courier service that's like easy for like to get messages back to each other, if that makes sense for folks.
Sounds good. Okay, Provincia Freeze. You created something. What's the exact phrase? You created something lasting and beneficial for the whole team. What was it?
Well, goodness. I think communicating devices have to be pretty simple in this time period. So what I'm thinking is if you all carry a small satchel and a bit of bread, I've created a device that whenever the team is needed, a piece of toast will pop up in your satchel, and it's kind of like a bat signal but in toast form. And we know that we have to meet at our designated meeting point.
Beautiful.
So, are you sure you're a scientist and not some kind of toastomancer? Because I think you might be a toast wizard.
I mean, are those mutually...
It's all science, Kyle. It's all science. Just because the physics is too complicated for your pedestrian mind,
that's right,
doesn't mean that it's magic.
Fair enough.
I will have you know, I used 37 different household objects to invent these things. It was a very complicated endeavor.
Okay, and last we go to...
The one that hasn't spoken?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
We found signs that this incident was just the start of something bigger. What were the signs? I'm gonna say villainous team up. Evidence of like all of our villains involved. Other like bunch of villains involved. It's like, this thing was stolen by Catspaw like 3 months ago, and this has the making of Dr. Solar. And
this was like components of the big spider were connected to these villains. Nice.
Yeah, and then there's some bird magic or something in there too.
Oh man, bird magic.
The steering system was a bird in a little globe.
And then something related to brainstorms.
I mean, a bunch of
phenomena.
A weird like electrostatic thing that looked like it was, kind of glowing with the colors of the northern lights. Like someone had
What's the
Tap-
opposite of toast?
tapped into this
I guess just bread,
cosmic
but
phenomenon.
It's just soggy bread.
All
Ugh.
right. That sounds pretty good to me. So I think we've got
That's right.
the backstory questions settled. You want to take a 10-minute break, meet up at 10 till, and we can leap into the first session?
Do we want to do relationship questions?
Oh, you're right.
yeah.
We should settle that
Good
before
job,
we go.
Alexi.
Thank you, yes.
Yeah. We might want to do relationships and influence.
Absolutely. All right, so back to character keeper order, starting with you, Alexi. Rookwood. What are his,
Let's see. You told Blank all about your doom and the danger you're in. I think that's going to be Prevencia, because if anyone can solve this, probably it's the person who creates all these toast-based inventions, right? That's
And has a bird.
and you even have a bird. It's true. And then you'd love to kiss Blank before your doom comes. I was thinking of pointing that at Squall. Is that all right by you, Leandro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She wouldn't know how to deal with that.
That's great. It's good for these characters to have emotions that they have no idea how to deal with.
And it's good for the two youngest teammates to be with each other and not the other two.
No, I mean it doesn't say we're together. It just says Gideon would love to kiss Squall before he fully disperses into a bunch of crows and can't do that anymore.
Fair enough. Okay. Renard, your influence. I'm sorry, I skipped your influence.
Oh yeah, no
Rockwood.
worries. Let me grab the playbook real quick to get that. I think I give influence to everybody though, because
To two of your teammates.
yeah. Then I'll do Renard and Squall, because I think even though I've confided these secrets to Preventia, sometimes I wonder if she really is the best person, and so there's some hesitancy there. Every time I see one of your inventions just explode into a pile of crumbs, I'm like, do I really think I've improved my chances here? We'll see.
Fair enough. Okay. Renard, your relationships and influence.
Brainstorm is quite enthralling, and I take every chance I get to spend time with them. And I've got to prove myself to Crow's Mantle before I feel like a proper hero. Maybe I should make that Squall, because Squall's got the moth as well. So they already know. Yeah, I'm sorry, Crow's Mantle.
It's okay. I'm just a sad boy turning into birds.
And yeah.
And everyone has influence over me, because I'm happy to be here.
And next we've got Squall, yeah.
Yeah. So I think Blank and I teamed up a few times before the rest of you came together. I might go with Brainstorm for that, given that Black Moth already kind of pointed the way for her. So there's a connection there. And your mentor's cautious. They asked you to keep an eye on. Jeez. I see the face you're making there, Joe.
Good choices, both of us.
Yeah.
Could it be the one who's slowly turning into a bunch of birds and can't stop it? I feel like that deserves some looking out.
Or the arrogant socialite.
Yeah, that's the thing. If Gideon becomes a problem, it kind of takes care of itself. Sorry.
There's no guarantee that once I'm all birds, the birds aren't part of some evil scheme that my uncle is pulling off, right?
Yeah.
Evil birds.
Yeah, they're both really good. I'm kind of tempted to go with Renard, honestly, because I think that's a threat or that's a potential that Black Moth would be more familiar with. Magic, well, as much as I can tell from her, magic ain't her thing. But arrogant socialite who may be play acting the hero, I don't know. She feels like she might have experience in that, or at least that's what Squall thinks.
Fair enough.
And my influence. Let's see. Let me scroll down. Choose your demeanor, playful or business. Squall seem like business. It's absolutely playful. So I give influence to 2 teammates. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think. Well, one of them probably is going to go to Gideon, because, I don't know. He's, but the word that came to mind is dreamy. But like, oh no, let's not go there. No, he just seems sad.
Oh.
He could be sad and dreamy.
That's
He's so aloof.
I know. If only he can open up. As well, listen to his every word.
Probably does laudle him.
And I think the other one is gonna be a brainstorm. I do think I'm a bit cautious of Renard after what my mentor said, but we've worked together, me and brainstorm. So
Okay. Go ahead and mark the who has influence over you on the thing. And next we get to brainstorm.
I'm amused that that's my official name. I don't remember when we decided on it, but I'll take it. So I told somebody about my shame and asked them for their confidence. My guess is that it would be Crow's Mantle.
Just a whole like
Because-
shame doom sharing session.
Yeah, I think I'm like, it was half to get it off my chest, but half also to make him feel better about his situation. Like, we all have sort of these things that happen, and trying to share in whatever way she understands sharing, because she hasn't always had the most active social life, because not everybody likes toast. And then I wish I could be a better hero. I mean, the real answer is more like what's her nose? Moth something.
Black Moth.
Black Moth. But in terms of relationships, it's probably Squall, because Squall is Black Moth's protege, and I would like to be Black Moth's protege.
why do I have 2 relationships where I'm a proxy for another person?
Because you created
Because
a really
you're the
excellent
protege?
other person.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the protege. Yeah, actually makes a lot of sense.
But she's
Very
also very fond of LaRouche Renard, who she probably calls like LRR, which would be the initials in French. I think Bravensi is very taken with everyone, just so you all know. She really is like very happy to be a part of the team and enamored of everyone involved.
All right. I think so you give influence to 2 people? Or 2 teammates.
What?
You give influence to 2
Oh, yes.
teammates.
I'm going to give it. Can I just arbitrarily give it to all 3? I feel like Bravencia really would
Pretty
be
much, yeah.
influenced by everyone.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
You can always give influence away whenever you want in game.
Yeah.
So
I think really, yeah, she's very fond of the team and excited to be here. So probably all of you have influence over her.
Awesome. All right. Let's meet up at the top of the hour, and we can leap into the session. Sounds good.
Sounds great.
All right, and we have discussed when you first came together as a team. So, we open on the cover for this issue. Don't have a name for the team yet, but I'm thinking for the cover, we're going to see you all in dramatic poses, the half flock of ravens or murder of ravens, crow's mantle, the rooftop pose, La Rouge Renard, and just overlooking Some large, brutish figure plowing through a brick wall, still, covered in shadows and smoke and stuff, so you can't see the details. And let's see, open the page or the book issue, first panel. Who wants to, start with a snippet of you in your everyday life. Anyone have a good idea where they want to start with? A good, iconic image of what your typical day is like?
I think Gideon's home life has gotten stressful since he put on a ring at his uncle's house and started turning into birds. Because I think his mother had always warned him, not to go to his uncle's, but so he's like lived in more kind of a poorer area of the city with his mother, and then like eventually accepted his uncle's invitation to this like grand old manor. That's where he got the ring, started turning into ravens. All things started being bad. So like I think he's like really really committed to like not not kind of telling his mother exactly how doomed he is, but she has suspicions. So like there's a scene as they're like eating dinner, and like some like bit of his shoulder is starting to like turn into a little wing, and he's like doing his best to hide it, and like trying not to have his mom see what's happened, or what's the extent of what's happening.
Sounds good. What about you, Squall? Are you training with the Black Moth? Or
I think we get like kind of like an intercut montage of what Nelly does today and then what Squall does at night. Nelly to like throw off any more suspicions is kind of like doing some more menial stuff with the Halcyon Herald, like literally typesetting, which is it's just setting the printing press. I think she's setting up. It looks like, for some reason, I imagine her fashion is basically whatever Saoirse Ronan's wearing in that Little Women movie that came out recently. Era appropriate around that time. So it does kind of look like just setting up a bunch of letters. She looks kind of bored. It's very menial work. And then when it starts printing and the first page comes out, you see that it's a front page of Black Moth and Squall strikes again, or something like that, with big fancy headline, along with like a bunch of like ads for tonic and how smoking cigarettes is good for you, stuff like that. And I think like when the image prints, we get like a shot of Black Moth kind of like just carousing through the rooftops with like tremendous ease. She's like a force of nature, and following behind her is Squall, who's also kind of trying to do the athletic stuff, but you can tell there are bits where like looks like she's getting a bit more of a boost than humanly possible, kind of like using the wind around to like give her a boost every now and then. There's like shots of that, and I think that's intercut with like more shots of what's being printed in the newspaper, and more shots of them kind of like beating up these, like, I think there's a bunch of coaches are coming into town that are clearly ran by nefarious dudes, and we just get shots of like Black Moth and Squall kind of like landing from above, and then we get like another shot of the paper being printed, and last shot of like Nelly seeing the paper kind of like being printed and just kind of like smiling, because she knows now that the paper is being printed, her shift is over and she can go now. And she goes off into the night.
all right. Renard or Freeze?
I think Renard's very much operating during the day. Like there's a bank heist going down, and she's swinging into action to put stop some crimes and sock it right in the kisser.
Nice. It sounds like her super heroics are her main gig.
Yeah, I mean, well, like it was like, oh, she was at like a party across the street. It's like, excuse me, I have to dash away.
And Provincia Freeze. What's she up to?
She is inventing at home. She's actually, well, she spends most of her free time trying to figure out what's going on with this ring, but she doesn't have the ring, obviously, since it's stuck on Crow's mantle. So she's like hypothesizing things and then doing experiments to see if they would have various effects. So she's in the room with Lobster, and she's sort of surrounded by like all kinds of household objects and vials of liquids that are not necessarily readily identifiable, and a lot of slices of toast, and is admonishing Lobster that she said chamomile tea specifically, and if he had brought the chamomile, there would be 5 less pieces of toast and 1 more successful whatever it is that she's trying to work on, but that Earl Grey is not the same thing, and surely by now he has learned, and that is where you see her sort of squabbling, but affectionately, of course.
Okay. So, we get those introductory panels, and then we cut to the breaking news. Villain is trashing a department store. Relatively new one, both in the sense that department stores have only existed for a couple decades now, and this one is relatively new to the block. And just sort of, smashing the place up, grabbing things that seem portable and valuable. Who do you think would be...
This is an outrage.
Yeah, I think, since Renard is, actively on the prowl, as it were, and probably the closer to the higher end part of town where, you would find the actual department store, I think she's probably on the scene first. Do you activate the toast signal?
Of course. Crime is afoot.
Bravencia says to Lobster, "That piece of toast wasn't here a moment ago. That must mean there's crime. It's time to go into action."
Nice. So you leap out the door, racing over to. All right. Squall.
Yeah, I think I probably like make it to the hideout to Black Moth Swan, and then so I see she's not there. So I think I was just kind of waiting, and then I've got the satchel. Toast kind of pops up. Sadly, I have no one to talk to when this is happening. So I think I just like, all right, Toast is up. I guess I'll talk to Black Moth later. So I am gonna take the vehicle that she gave me. And I think we just get a shot of Squall, who's probably a bit smaller than she should be, driving this. I put a picture of this 1890s Roadster in my abilities part. And she absolutely has the toast in her mouth as she's driving, because she's late, not for school, but for a team up.
Gideon gets the toast signal and just kind of like plops the toast onto a plate, puts it down in front of his mother, saying, "Sorry, mother, I need to run," and then without any of the further explanation is like out the door, and kind of alights, right, like takes off in kind of bird form, and then like will coalesce closer to. Yeah, I guess the toast gives us some sort of a pointer, or maybe I just like go up high enough to like see where there seems to be trouble in the city, and then like land there, assuming that's probably where the team is gathering.
Freeze. Does the toast give you a location?
I think it gives like there's like an arrow, and hopefully we all can figure out where we are based on going the exact direction of that arrow. But I don't know that it could be much more sophisticated than that. It is just toast.
Fair enough. It's comic books, so it works. And yeah, does who wear a costume?
Oh, sorry. There was some secret identity chat in the chat, and I wanted to know whether Prevencia wore a costume.
I think she has a cloak with a lot of internal pockets that she tends to throw on her way out the door. And other people probably think it's a costume, and what it really is a way of having a lot of gadgets and things to make gadgets with her. But she also wouldn't mind having a costume, so she's like not going to disavow anyone of that notion. She may have like fabric painted some stars on the back of it at some point to like encourage people to think in that direction.
She wear a mask?
Yes.
All right, then.
She has also drawn stars on to match the cape or cloak.
All right. So Renard, you hear these, you saw someone burst into the department store. You hear smashing noises around in there, some screams of panic from the various shoppers. Are you going to wait for backup, or are you going to just rush in?
I'm gonna perch up high, get a lay of the land, see what ne'er-do-well would ruin such a lovely department store on a lovely Wednesday afternoon.
All right. Sounds like
Assess the situation.
Yeah, go ahead and roll superior.
Pretty sure I'm assessing the situation.
Yeah.
So it's +1. So, haha. And there's a 4 total. So let me get that potential. XP on a miss is the best thing.
Okay. So you rolled a 4. So
Yeah, and we have only one team in the pool, so we're not going to be able to do anything about that.
Let's see.
Yeah, I think as you're looking for a good place to survey the scene, you hear a pretty loud scream from inside. It's not just the generic like, "Oh no, I'm shocked." It's more like, "I am in immediate mortal danger."
Oh, well, shit. So much for waiting for the team.
Do you rush on in?
Yeah. That's why I said so much for waiting for the team.
All right.
Come on.
The rest of you, I think, are willing to. You can show up anytime you want from this point on. So you rush in just in time to see like a wall safe get ripped out of the wall and hurled, just barely missing someone until it busts open against another wall on the far side. And swaggering into view, you see the superpowered individual known as Buster. I don't know if you know too much about him, but he is phoned in the costume. Absolutely, it's pretty much just regular work clothes with big crude metal gauntlets and sort of a crude metal helmet on top.
I mean, I wouldn't call that phoning in. That's top of the line for 1890s.
I mean, whatever's going on here, people are being very rude.
Mm-hmm. So I'm like, stop right there, Buster. And, it's both his name and also an insult. No, you must face Le Rouge Renard. And I'm bringing up my superhero name to someone important because that's my call for the first time. So I'm a roll plus savior.
All right.
So come on, dice. 4 and a 1. So that's a 5. But my savior's 2, so it's a 7. On a hit, they've heard of you. Say which of your exploits they've heard about and which label they think applies. On a 7 or 9, the GM will tell you something else they've heard and pick a second label they assign to you. Huh? Oh, I guess my labels get shifted?
No, you just pick which label you think applies to what you've done.
All right. Yeah, I think they heard about me busting up the trying to think of the damn it. It's reminded from an earlier game, but the Blue Crabs. It's a gang down by the wharf, and Savior, of course. So it was very heroic.
Yeah, Buster's just gonna look at you and like, oh, crap! Yeah, you're Cat's Paws girl, aren't you?
Lush, shocked and appalled. Oh, how dare! Such impertinence.
Look, kid, I know you thought you were something special in Paris, but this is Halcyon City. It's a bigger deal, and the stakes are higher. And Christ, what are you, like 17? Look, I'm just, I used to be a hero like you, and then it all went bad, and now I just need the money. So stay out of the way before I go through you.
Look here, whippersnapper. If you used to be a hero and didn't manage, I don't see where you have the temerity to insult those of us who continue to fight the good fight, like my good friend here, Le Rouge Renard. Perhaps it is you who should get out of the way.
He's gonna turn over to you and be like, okay,
Do they shift? That's like a good question. What
I
does
don't
that die roll actually do?
I think it establishes fictionally what they've heard about you. I don't think your labels actually shift.
But then why mention labels?
I think it's just a thematic thing.
It certainly gives the GM the possibility of trying to shift your labels, in the appropriate direction.
Yeah, but then why would you pick a second label?
It.
But why would a second label be picked?
Well, in this case, I think Buster was trying to shift your labels, Bernard. Lower your savior and raise your mundane.
But I already picked savior as what they've heard about me.
Yeah, and
so then you would have to pick a second label, right?
Yeah, I picked mundane.
Okay, so raise but
it would just be a regular resist someone's influence move if you want to resist it.
I'm okay with that, but I'm trying to figure out why this is a move then.
Because
fictional positioning is never just a move.
Sometimes it is. Depends on the.
Very rarely in these playbooks, at least not the base playbooks.
I think the idea is that
you generally want to get something mechanically in the playbook as well as fictionally.
I'm looking at the PDF of the main book.
Yeah,
this is pretty much a superhero, right?
Yes, pretty much superhero.
Yeah, it just says, let's see, it's your chance to control NPC's first impressions of you. It only triggers, blah, blah, blah. Whatever label you pick is the one to reflect back at you through their influence. So it is just to frame the influence shift. You get to choose like what label they'll be shifting around, basically.
Okay. So they've heard of me as a savior.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Buster thinks of you as a savior. He just thinks you're also a kid.
Okay. All right. Just double checking because I'm like, then what does this move do? So he's trying to lower my savior despite him thinking of me as a savior.
Yeah. I mean, someone, a kid who means well, but ultimately just a kid.
All right. Yeah, I'll resist, sure. And that's a flat roll, right?
Yes.
And there's a 6. No, wait, I want to roll high on that. Damn it.
Did I help by giving the young fellow a dressing down?
I think you absolutely did. I think you can spend a team there to bust it up to a 7. Or buff it.
Yeah.
I mean, busted up versus Buster makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully that whippersnapper will listen to my 18-year-old wisdom.
All right. So 7 and 9. So many tabs.
On a 7 to 9, choose one, clear a condition or mark potential by immediately acting to prove them wrong. Shift one label up and one label down, your choice. Or cancel their influence and take +1 forward against them.
Yeah, no. I'm going to immediately act to prove them wrong. Well, we are. Because now I got a partner on the scene. So yeah. Take that! Should have put a smoke pellet right to his face.
Sounds like you're directly engaging a threat.
Yep. But I'm standing strong, dramatically under fire, because he just threw a safe at me, right?
He threw a safe near you.
Yeah, I don't think the safe was aimed at you.
That's fine. That's fine. All right, then. No matter what, I'm still going to teach this rapscallion a lesson.
I feel like there's a certain range to it, which like a safe can fly by you, at which point, whether or not it was aimed at you, you can feel threatened by that situation.
All right, so I got an 8 total.
All right.
I'm a resist or avoid their blows. I'm not even going to bother to look. That's how I prove him wrong. Call me a savior, but not really.
So yeah, you engage him. You do, act to prove him wrong, I think, and see you mark potential. But while you managed to, largely dodge, Brute's blow, Buster's, punching out at you, and it's the weird thing. It's like the sort of when he punches, his gauntlets sort of like drag him along after him. So there's sort of like surges of motion as the gauntlets push him around and stuff. And you're able to stay out of the way of the various blows themselves, but you're not making much of an impact yourself.
I mean, I do, by definition.
Preventia Freeze, you're on the scene, and I think the other two can have shown up by now. So, what do you think? Do you all? What entrance do you make? Rookwood and Squall.
Yeah, I think there's like a sort of cessation of wing beats as this large group of kind of black birds converges, and suddenly there's this young man in a kind of tattered feathery cloak standing there looking and taking in the scene.
There's a loud screeching. It's just like
no, the birds are eerily quiet.
Yeah, but there's tires squealing as like this vehicle kind of rounds the corner. And I think like it skids across the street and kind of like I think when it comes to like a stop, it's a hard jolt, and out jumps from the driver's seat, kind of like does this kind of like pirouette. Instead of landing, hard on the ground, like she just kind of like lands softly, because then like the air currents kind of around her start to like cushion her blow. And I think like Skull's superhero outfit is broken down Mentor's garb, so it's kind of largely like how Black Moth dressed, except the hat is a bowler hat this time. And instead of a mouth scarf to cover her mouth, it's a domino mask. Clearly a big difference.
You got the toast message too, Squall?
Yeah, it was delicious.
Awesome. All right. I think Renard is keeping him busy with her smoke bombs and stuff, and jumps back while he's distracted with all the smoke in his eyes, giving you all a chance to enter battle against a dangerous foe as a team.
Let's do it.
So, starting off, we add 2 tokens to the pool just because. And now, who is leading the team right now, do we think? Do you have an established leader?
I don't assume we have an established leader. It seems like Renard is leading the team in this battle.
That's what I was thinking.
Whoever takes charge in the moment, that's generally who I vote for.
All right. Renard.
Are you voting for yourself then?
I mean, I will third the nomination, so.
Renard, you do not have
Nope.
influence over every teammate.
Nope. Thanks, Squall.
Does everyone have the same purpose in the fight? What are your purposes?
Detain this buster.
Yeah, bust the buster.
Stop whatever villainy is afoot.
Yeah, that's my general reason all the time, and if that includes busting the buster, as it were,
That's an extra one. Anyone mistrust the leader or the team?
how could any of us mistrust Error? So pure of heart.
And
I feel pretty confident.
Are you ill-prepared or off balance? Don't think so.
Not any more than usual.
Okay. Now, Breventia, you do have the power to add an additional team to the pool if you advise on tactics. Wait, no. I'm sorry, do you have that move?
I think she didn't take that one.
You're right.
I took Tactical Genius. Is that the thing?
No.
No, there's a
Which
different
one
one
is
that adds an extra team to the pool. My mistake.
Above the Fray is that one.
Oh,
That's what I was thinking of.
maybe I should have taken that one. I don't know. I got very confused.
Masks is always, should I have taken that?
Don't worry. I'm sure you'll mark some potential and get to pick new moves as additions later on.
Okay. So, Freeze. Yeah, you've been here. You've had a chance to eye up the target, pick your move. What are you going to do?
Prevent you.
Yeah.
All right. I think my internet froze again for a second. What was the question?
So Buster, the smoke is clearing. Buster, turns, sees you all assembled there, and you've got a chance to act. What do you do?
I'm better at assessing things and making gadgets than I am at striking out at Juggernaut people.
You can always assess the situation.
I think that is probably the best plan for me. Yes. I'd like to assess the situation specifically as to how this fellow is so strong and all these other things, because that feeds into my scientific insight. Figure out the biology of this fellow.
Sounds good.
Where did I put the
So you-
controller? It was,
I'll post the link back into the chat.
no, I've got it. I've got it now. Just too many tabs. Sorry. Okay. 2 and submit. Well, that's not so good.
Yeah, that looks like a 6. Oh, sorry, that's a 4 with plus your 2 superior. That is a 6.
Yes. So not so much.
Sounds like I think Reventia is getting caught up in the analysis while something goes wrong. Anyone want to chip in a team to bust it up to a 7?
I'll do that. I think when I'm kind of run up next to Preventia, who's kind of he's probably assessing this. I think I just kind of this isn't me triggering reading through the files. I think I just kind of know, like, oh yeah, that's Buster. I remember when he busted through the cabbie service and busted like 7 different cabs in quite a bustering. Now he mentions the word Buster like 5 times in one sentence, basically, to kind of like help you like jog your memory as to how this person is.
Sounds good. That bumps it up to a 7.
Okay, so then I should be able to ask this and a follow-up question with my move thingy. So I'm going to say, what here can I use to weaken or stop or otherwise incapacitate this fellow?
Yeah, you can see there's something funky with those gauntlets, but whatever it is, it appears to be taking like a physical toll on him. So honestly, just keeping here in one place, like time is on your side. He will get tired first. You're pretty sure.
Okay. In that case, my follow-up question is, what is the best way to keep him sort of engaged to the point that he will stick around without, or like with, maybe there's no without, but causing as little actual structural damage, like getting him to stick around, but like more talking than smashing? Like, does he have a topic that gets under his skin or something?
You're watching him, and his eyes keep drifting to the open safe. Like he wants that money a lot. It's you can see that, and you think that's what's probably on his mind the most.
Okay. So I'm gonna like whisper that to Squall, since Squall is near me. And say, like, let's get the word out so that anybody on the team now can hopefully act upon this.
Cool.
Are there civilians still around?
Yes, I think there are some civilians. Not in the immediate area. They've run back a bit, but there's still some sort of, huddled in the back behind the aisles, like peeking over counters, just trying to like stay out of the line of fire, as it were.
Nice, cool. Yeah, I'm trying to position myself between Buster and the civilians, and then say, "You picked the wrong city to engage in acts of villainy." As I like reach out my hands and just release essentially a blast of birds, and try and kind of knock him backwards with that.
Nice. So are you trying to hurt him or trying to move him move him around?
I'm trying to hit him and make him understand the futility of his endeavor here. I expect I'm directly engaging a threat.
I think you are. Roll plus danger.
Will do. As it happens, I have a lot of danger. Why are there no black dice? How am I to be a gothy crow's mantled guy if there's no black dice for me to roll? Okay. I rolled a 7. My danger is 2, so that's a 9.
All right. On a 9, you pick one: resist or avoid their blows, take something from them, create an opportunity, or impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition.
I want to frighten the opposition.
All right. So yeah, Buster just came here to make some money. He did not plan on like meeting the freaky crow boy or anything.
No one plans to meet the freaky crow boy.
So he's backing up, like, okay, I don't know what you are, but look, you want the money, you can have it. And he looks like he's gonna, turn and start, he's about to start running away from the mall. Anyone gonna, Squall? I think you haven't gone yet, or Bernard, what do you do?
Yeah. Let's see. He's trying to run away. Kind of don't want that. I think collectively we all want to beat him up, kind of. At the very least, Renard doesn't look happy.
No, he implied scandalous things. Scandalous.
Yeah, so I think where he's running, I think like I was conversing with Preventer, so like, all right, okay, he's safe, Gauntlet, and I think we see running, and Skull's like, oh no, you don't. And I think I kind of like, I do this thing where I kind of like grasp forward my hands, and I think I'm grasping like kind of the air around us to kind of push him back inside, so that he really can't get away, or at least he'll stay here and answer for what he's done.
Okay, that sounds like Unleash Your Powers.
Hell, yeah, okay, at least I'm okay with that. Cool. That's all right, that's an 8. I'm willing to mark a condition. Sure, why not? Let's have some conditions on the ground. I think I will mark probably insecure a bit. Just because like I was a bit caught out being like, oh, okay, all right, this is what we're do. Oh wait, nope. Kind of like Squall thinks maybe if she was a second slower, maybe he would have gone away fully, but I'll mark a condition to keep him inside.
Okay, yeah, he's running for the back, and you put this big wall of air that just buffets him backwards towards the group. He's like, frick, another one of you? When did all the magic kids show up?
Hate to break it to you, buddy, but I'm not magic. I'm just powered by pure pluck.
We're not kids. We're heroes.
And I think Florencia is not always the master of timing or being up on the social situation, but she wants to join in on this tauntingness, and she's gonna throw her toast at him. It's no longer useful since we're all here, and it's almost at the level of burned since we're in the right place. She says, yes, all of that, and take this! And she throws the toast at him. And she doesn't imagine it'll injure him, but she does imagine it will be confusing enough to continue keeping him from leaving for a second, because who expects to get hit with toast?
I think you might be provoking him, just because the sheer ridiculousness of a toast attack.
Okay.
What do you want him to do, Prevencia?
I want him to not leave. So I want him to be like surprised enough that someone would throw toast at him, that it would like give him pause for a second to try to like, is something worse happening? Like, surely no one is just going to throw toast at Buster, right? There has to be more magic or a hidden trick or something. There isn't, but that's what I want him to think.
I think in this moment he's definitely susceptible to your words because he's just seen some freaky magic shit.
Yeah. So this is the hope. Roll plus superior. Which is 2. Oh, good. That's one of my good stats. Excellent.
It's like you rolled a 7, I think.
6, but it becomes an 8 with superior.
Okay. On an 8, they can instead choose 1. They stumble, err, or overreact. You know what? They're going to overreact. You gain influence over Buster as he's just like, toast? Who throws toast? I was a hero, damn it. I saved people, and now you're throwing toast at me? This is... you children
That's
don't...
right, evil doer. From from a hero to someone who gets toast thrown at them. How do you feel now?
Yeah, his eyes just go red, and he charges straight towards the group. He's been humiliated, and he wants payback.
I will charge straight back at him.
What? No.
And then I'm getting ready to leap at him with like a flying punch.
Roll to directly engage a threat.
All right. Now would this be standing strong dramatically under fire as he's charging at me?
Sure, I'll give it to you.
I mean, he's got crazy strength. He ripped a safe out of a wall.
Point.
Through it. All right, so I get to roll savior instead of danger. And there is 12 or 13 or something.
Okay, nice. You get 2 options.
Yeah, I'm going to resist or avoid their blows, and I have to look at the other options. That's the one I know. Let's see. I'm going to, as I'm leaping at him, flipping all around, punching, kicking, high kicks. He's got a hat. I'll tug it down over his eyes. And let's see. Oh, like when I'm doing that, I'm going to create an opportunity where as I swing around on his back, and I'm trying to steer him like a wild bronco towards the teammate, so I'm creating an opportunity for the allies.
Yeah, Buster's had a hard day. They've been humiliated and buffeted around, and they're just getting punched now. They're one good thing away from getting finished. Who wants to? Who? What do you do?
Does he slip on another piece of toast?
I'll look to Squall and then do a little bow and invite. You want to get a hit in on him?
I think I'll do a bow in response. All right, that's very courteous of you. And I think I just make a gun gesture and kind of just a pop, and that's kind of I guess in my mind that's pressurizing the pressurized bit of air to smash against his face. Not to kill him, obviously, to knock him out.
I think, at this point, you've got him dead to rights. You hit him square in the face, and he just goes down. Renard rides him down, and he's on the ground. You've got him.
I will bring some birds around to cushion his fall slightly, so he doesn't get more injured than we want him to be on his way down.
Gotta truss him up for the authorities, of course.
Yeah, Squall and Preventure. I think either of you would probably know the best way to tie someone up.
You'd be surprised what a French girl knows.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, it's I think I've probably seen Renard tie some knots and be like, what are those?
Ask. I'm sure your mentor will be able to educate you on this.
Provencia is in the background rigging up a mousetrap contraption so that if he were to somehow free himself from his bonds, it would set off a chain reaction resulting in a number of things like ball bearings and liquids falling upon him to hinder his departure.
And I'll go ahead and say Gideon just has a sharp intake of breath, and it's clear, if someone were paying a lot of attention, it'd be clear he's pushing against the bent of his powers when he tried to use the birds to be helpful and merciful here, right? And keeping Buster from just smashing his head on the ground. So I'm going to go ahead and mark a doom track for showing mercy.
That makes sense. And as you're restraining Buster, you sort of see a door crack open, and a woman sort of pokes her head out, is it over?
Never fear, the evildoer has been stopped. You can go about your shopping in peace.
Oh, thank you. The door opens all the way, and she comes out in this beautiful, although like somewhat severe-looking dress. You know, the sort of 1890s equivalent of businessy for a woman. And it's like, oh, thank you. I've just started this department store. If it were trashed too badly already, I couldn't bear to see it go under so soon. And as she's saying that, you know, big booming voice comes out. Yes, citizen, it would be a shame if your store went under due to your lack of preparation. And a figure all in black, you know, boots to mask, walks in, and you recognize Night Watch, the face of Aegis and agent of the Pinkertons. It's like,
God.
thank you for your assistance, young heroes of Halcyon City. One day you will make a real difference here.
Yeah, we're
Like
very
today.
yeah, we're very glad that we could, make sure that we've done we've done all the work for yourself. We're very grateful of that, Mr. Nightwatch person, sir. Um, we're very grateful for your ability to swan in and just and I think like Squall is kind of like just
Squall. Be nice. He's very good at
grateful
doing
that-
his job,
That they
cleaning up.
stayed out of our way.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Very
Yes,
grateful.
yes. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, he's a fantastic janitor, isn't he?
You're welcome, young ladies. I'm always happy to help citizens in need. And he's just gonna, you know, march straight over to where the tied-up Buster is. Is anyone gonna try to stop him?
Oh, he's,
I'm going to giggle to myself because he has not noticed the machine I've rigged up, and if he releases the bonds on Buster, that will still set off the machine. It's not specifically set to only be disturbed by Buster.
Provencia, are you pointing out the obvious flaw in a known foe's plan?
As far as I'm concerned, I am.
I think you are, yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. Roll plus savior. Okay. And my savior
what do we
is.
do with this?
It doesn't matter what
No,
we do with it.
this is great, right? We can make this work.
So that's a 9, I think.
Okay.
I will spend a team from the pool to make that a 10, right? If all that's needed is like a little more weight on the spring, like a single like bird like perches on it just to make sure this is primed and ready to go. Yeah.
So yeah, my obvious flaw is that they have not noticed my intricate and very large and complicated. Anyone should be able to see it if they are looking, but somehow he's missed it trap. And it's going to be sprung on both Mr. Pinkerton, Aegis, whatever, and Buster.
Yeah, Night Watch. He comes over to, and you see reporters gathering at the door, and he's, clearly coming over to pose next to the captured hero and be like, look how I caught this man. I totally didn't show up at the last moment. And just as he's doing that, I think you see that he is going to set off the trap you set up to restrain Buster. So yeah, you alert your fellow teammates to that. Anyone gonna do anything, or just let him humiliate himself?
Like Squall's kind of like, I've got the car out. We might not want to be around here once this goes off.
I think I'll I think I'll save him I'll try to save him at the very last minute so that it's like very obvious that he made this mistake and it's only because we stepped in that he wasn't kind of left here looking like a the fool of the century.
Well, you have +1 ongoing then.
All right. I'd like to roll to defend someone, albeit, defend them in order to show them up. Does that work?
Sure, yeah.
Great. Yeah, and so the idea is like the giant mousetrap thing is almost closed, and then like suddenly a bunch of birds are there like holding it back. As I say, not so observant now, Night Watch, huh? Or should have kept a better watch.
Roll plus savior.
Yeah, great. Great. Okay. Roll for your party was having a laugh at me. Looks like I actually rolled a 7, and my savior's 1, so that's an 8.
Okay, you get to choose one of the options.
I'll definitely take influence over someone I protect.
Okay. So on a 7 to 9, checking the messages. Yes, the Aegis are authorities. I mean, they're all adults, so they are authorities. They're contracted by the government a lot. They are not officially government workers. Night Watch is one of the more experienced heroes in the city.
Yeah, they're just like the go-to round up the supervillains that get caught, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, on an 8, it costs you expose yourself to danger or escalate the situation, and you take influence over Night's Watch or
Yes.
Night Watch. Okay, yeah, your crows sweep in, and you just barely sweep him out of the way of the. What would have happened? Actually, what does hit Buster, Preventia?
I mean, if it hasn't all been prevented, there's a bucket of just plain water, because that's funny, that would pour directly on his head.
Okay.
There were like a whole bunch of things would have gone off at once. So,
Okay.
You want one of them to have not been held back?
I think everything hits Buster full on, but Gideon is able to pull Night's Watch just in time to be out of the way.
So yeah, there's a bucket of water that gets dumped on his head. A bunch of ball bearings get released around his feet so that he would trip if he tried to walk. And a bunch of... Did they have rubber bands back then? Something equivalent to rubber
Maybe
bands.
you invented them.
I probably did. Are launched from tiny, like, slingshot type things to just, like, pling at him very obnoxiously. It's sort of, Home Alone-like set of one after the other ridiculous things that are like, ow, what, ah! The ball bearings being, of course, the most effective because it is very hard to run when you have ball bearings under your feet.
And yeah, so Buster's all, he's falling and scrambling, trying to keep his feet. There's a bucket on his head. He's soaked. It's incredibly humiliating, and the camera flashes all go off, taking that picture at once.
And when he tries to yell something about it, a piece of toast lands in his mouth.
Nice.
Yeah, like that.
And yeah, Night's Watch, throws a look at you, Gideon, because he knows you just saved him from a very humiliating photo op, and is just like, "Thank you, young man. If you ever want a place in the Pinkertons, we're always looking for enterprising young minds, and not foolish gadgeteers." He shoots a glance at you, Preventia.
Perhaps if you were less meddlesome, you wouldn't have to worry about such things. But, if you don't want us gadgeteers on your team, we'd be happy to be in opposition.
Should have known that Black Moth's little apprentice would be falling around with this band of ne'er-do-wells.
No. I think you're a bit confused, Night's Watch. He was the ne'er-do-well trying to rob the department store. We were the heroes that stopped him and trussed him up for you so you could easily cart him away to, detainment. Well, of which the city and we are very thankful for your services. Now, if there's nothing more, then I'm sure there's more crimes for us to stop. So we'll be on our way.
Yes, get out of here, girls, and you, young man. And as you're heading out, you're gonna hear Night Watch make the most of this photo op. Like, yes, I bravely captured this foul miscreant, and I would have been here sooner if this department store had taken up the Pinkerton special protection contract to ensure the most timely superhero protection possible.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and like just like close my eyes as I hear that, because there's something sort of suspicious there, and just see if my ravens know anything more about this. I want to use dark visions to find out what this Pinkerton protection scheme is.
Absolutely. All right.
Yeah, so I can mark my doom track to have a vision about the situation at hand, and after the vision, I can ask the GM a question.
And I will answer honestly. Okay. You see a vision of Buster in his civilian guise, but you still know him from it. He's a big kind of hulking dude. Even without the helmet, you recognize him. Just sitting in some dive bar down on his luck, nursing a beer, and then someone whispers in his ear, and his eyes light up. And the scene immediately cuts to him busting into the department store.
Did the Pinkertons put him up to this?
Yes. Not directly, but yes.
Yeah, so like probably if we've all been like walking out of the store, there's like a moment when you realize that Gideon is like still like standing stock still a little ways behind you, and then like when he opens his eyes, he just like transmutes all to ravens and like rushes forward to like reform next to the three of you, saying, I think
walk the 30 feet.
I think the Pinkertons put Buster onto this. It's a protection racket.
Oh, scoundrels! This cannot stand.
Can
you prove it?
I can't, because I only know this, and I'm like rubbing my forehead with like the hand with the like ring on it, which is like glowing a faint purple.
We shall have to investigate this.
Yeah, I'm sorry, weird raven visions aren't admissible evidence in court, but I'm sure we can. I'm sure we can pin it to them. They're not the brightest bunch.
Are you all right, Gideon? You seem...
Yeah. I'm fine, he says, and you can tell he's not fine.
If you'd like to come by for some tea and toast, there's always plenty.
That's a comfort and support roll. Go ahead, yeah. Well, for that, it's plus mundane.
So that is a flat. Okay.
Only one mundane person in the group.
If
Only our beacon has any mundanity to show for it, huh?
Sadly, I have failed terribly at comforting and supporting.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, Kyle, what happens?
So on a miss, yeah, something about it doesn't hit you. Let me think. Let me say this. Would Gideon react well to this in normal circumstances?
He'd be he would be open to comfort from Provencia, but I don't think he likes people pitying him. So if he suspects that that's what part of what's going on, he might react badly.
Okay. You know what? What happens is, as you're, trying to pay attention to Provencia's words, the comfort and support, you still have a little bit of your senses, mystical senses, extended from receiving that vision,
Yeah.
and suddenly some new visions swarms into your mind, and you see this gigantic crow flying over the city, so large that its head blocks out the sun. And its eyes stare deep into your soul, and you can see it like gazing down and judging you. And mark your doom track.
Yeah, that tracks. I'm going to also mark afraid. And like just kind of yeah, just blanch, right, in entirely, and like start like backing away from the team, just like looking all around like, did you see did any of you see that?
No, Gideon, it's fine. It's us. Hi, what did you see?
And I'm like looking up at the sky, like I'm trying to see that crow, right? But presumably, it's not visible anymore. But maybe there's like a slightly suspicious cloud that I'm like staring at. Like, is it gonna be that crow in just a moment? Yeah, and like I'll like stutter something out to Squall. Like I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's there's something bad, something big, something's coming.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It'll be fine, Gideon. Why don't we take you home? No turning into a cloud of ravens. No, we'll take you home. I've got the car.
You want to take him to his home or towards your cave or your lair where...
The hideout.
Yeah, hideout. That's it.
No, I think it's only the first session. I don't know. I think Squall is being sincere. Like, unless Gideon doesn't want to come home because that's his uncle's place.
I think he lives with his mom in a house that's a little more like run down, and then like he kind of will like sneak into his uncle's abandoned mansion, where all this bad stuff initially happened, but it's also where he can try to do some research into the curse that he has. So yeah, if you offer to take him somewhere, he'll like start like for a second say yeah, home, and then like look and see like his arm is like has like bits of wings sticking out of it. He's like no, on second thought, maybe my uncle's place.
You sure?
Yeah, I don't want it's better for me to pull myself together first.
Okay, all right, I'll take you there. And I think I kind of turned to like the other two. It's like, are y'all coming along, or should we get in this looking into the Pinkerton stuff as soon as possible?
Oui, this sounds like a good idea, no? Plus, there is always crimes for me to stop, so if I shall contact you by toast if need be.
That's a good idea. Yeah, stop more crimes. Maybe Night Watch will show up again. And maybe you can learn more. Yeah, that sounds really cool.
So, yeah.
Give my best to the owl.
Moth.
Moth?
I think like you say that like it glides over like Squall's head, and then it's like, yeah. Well, absolutely.
Whoops.
um, yeah. Yeah. So we'll keep in touch by Toast. And when she says Toast, like she kind of like looks at Preventia, trying to put on like a smile, being like, no, yeah, it'll be fine. Let's take Gideon home, or
Cool.
to his uncle's.
And I think that might be a good place to call the game proper for the night. We can, do the end of session moves and stuff. But first, anyone want to get any last bits in before we end the scene?
No. My
Alrighty.
only question is Squall trying to comfort and support me also with this proffered ride?
It was honestly like a provoke to get you to accept the ride, but you accepted it anyway.
Yeah,
I think it's like.
And I was wondering if Crow's Mantle was sharing a vulnerability and like not wanting to go to his uncle's place.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was more likely what's happening.
Let's see. When you share a vulnerability or weakness with someone, give them influence over you and ask if they honestly think there's hope for you. That's great. Yeah. So like as you're helping me to the car and I'm like saying, no, not home. I don't want to look like this. I need a moment first, and I'll say, I'm sorry. That was a victory, but I put a whole damper on it. Do you think I'm just going to be stuck like this forever?
I think as the engine's like starting up, when you kind of say that, I think we're kind of pulling away a bit when you say that, and there's probably like a longer silence than probably what Gideon would like. And Squall says, well, you don't want to be stuck like that, do you?
No.
Then it won't be. I mean, if you don't want to be, then, well, we'll make it so. We just have to. I think like she tries to like give you like she tries to give you a smile, and then immediately has to like go back to the road. I think like,
and I like break eye contact, slightly too fast also on the smile. But that's great. Yeah. So it sounds like you're saying there is hope for me. So I'm going to mark potential. And I gave you influence, and you already had influence. Is that correct?
So you get to move one label up and one label down.
Yeah, I'm gonna move Savior up. I noticed him saving. Well, everyone noticed him saving Nightwatch, but also him making sure Buster landed right. So I'm moving your Savior up and your Danger down.
Legit.
Okay.
There's more to you than being a collection of birds, assorted birds.
And I think you wanted to say something, Pearl?
Oh, just that if there's like an ending thing for Preventia, it's that she's at home like furiously working on something and talking to Lobster and saying, look, this is more important than tea and toast. You didn't see the look on his face, all right? We have to figure out what's going on with the ring. The rest of it doesn't matter. And she's like more determined than ever to figure out how to stop whatever's happening to Gideon from happening.
Awesome.
Work into the night.
I have an idea. If Pearl is okay with me playing off her scene, like right after you have that monologue, well, that conversation to Lobster is when your doorbell rings and Angelique Boucher is there to share tea with you because I was in the neighborhood and we are associates, clearly, in our civilian lives.
Hold on, let me remind myself of who Angelique is.
That's my secret identity.
Oh, yes, of course.
Reynard, out of costume.
Yes.
Right.
The French socialite.
But of course, come
Yes.
in.
But like, I like the idea. It's like, I don't have time for tea and toast. Ding dong.
It's a teammate, so there's always time. But that just means that Preventia will stay up
Oh,
later.
this is a thing. I want Angelique is friends with Bravencia, but Angelique keeps her secret identity secret even from her teammates.
Okay.
But like we are associates both in and out of costume.
I see.
If you're okay with that.
Sure.
She has that domino mask, so no one can recognize her.
Exactly.
Right, of
The
course.
hair's done differently. Angelique would never be caught wearing such a scandalous outfit.
No, never. So yeah, I think Angelique is welcome, but probably Bravencia seems a bit distracted because
course,
she is
of
like
course.
running through different scenarios in her mind the whole time.
My dear, are you all right? You seem distracted. Is there anything that you wish to talk about to get off your chest? You know you can always confide in me.
I'm actually wondering if I could click on the right tab one time in my life, but more generally, if I can share a vulnerability with someone on the team without realizing I'm doing it because it is their civilian.
Yeah. Well,
That sounds fun, so yes.
It just says with someone, so.
You know, do you think that science could ever be as powerful as magic?
I do not know. I have to believe it. The advancements that yourself and many others are making all the time or seem to grow day by day. I do not see why not.
I'm glad to hear you say that.
The magic is this is a science we do not yet understand, is it not?
It's a good way of looking at it. That's a really good way. Maybe I can keep that in mind because sometimes there are things that we're up against, and I think that all the science in the world might not be enough, but it has to be enough, you know?
I agree.
All
that's
right.
the vulnerability, is that she's afraid that
All right,
genius or not, she's never actually going to be enough to counter.
Can I roll comfort or support on you? I guess
Sure.
that's a question for Kyle. I don't know.
Or
I think you shared your vulnerability or weakness. I think that's the whole move there.
Okay.
Prevention did it, so is Renard responding to the comfort
All right,
support?
yeah, you can do that. You can respond with the comfort and support.
Yeah, I was trying to lead with the comfort, but either way works. So.
so I'm gonna hold.
You get to hold 2
for now, and I'm just gonna keep holding them for now. I'll probably end up using them to add team, but I can hold them at the moment, right? And then as long as I'm with them later.
That's right.
So.
Yeah.
So 7, 8, 9. Is there any team left?
You have influence over Prevention.
Oh yeah, you do have influence. So I
do. Yeah, so there's a 10 plus. So I have to look up the thing because the tabs. Comfort support on hit, they hear you. They can mark potential, clear condition, or something. Or shift labels if they open up to you. 10 plus, you can also add team to pull or clear condition yourself. So, I mean, it won't matter. The team's going to go away, but you can mark potential or shift labels if you open up.
Well, sure. I started out by opening up, so I don't see why I would stop.
Yeah.
And I will mark potential because I don't see any labels I need to shift particularly. But I love potential.
All right. I think we can call that a session.
And if you don't mind, one last thing. Not going to trigger anything, but as we're sharing toast with the tea, I pull up, of course, the little jar of preserves that LaRouge Renard almost always seems to have the same preserves. So,
what a strange coincidence!
Yeah, crazy random happenstance.
Okay. So end of session moves. I know the brain has one. Did you take steps to make amends for your shame this session?
So the way I'm interpreting that at the moment, because we're not directly engaging with the cosmic phenomenon, is just that Bravencia is always trying to do good, to counter the fact that she has done something that does harm. So I would leave it up to you, Kyle, to determine whether I did enough good.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's the first session. You didn't have a lot of time to work with, so I think I'm going to go with yes for sure this time.
Okay. So then, yes. Hooray.
Any other end of session moves for the other playbooks?
The Doomed has one. At the end of every session, answer the question: did you make progress on defeating your nemesis? And I think the answer is no. I really, did not, make headway against whatever Thaddeus Rookwood has brewing. So I'm going to mark my doom track for that.
Alrighty. And now everyone answers the. You do have to fill it up several times, I think, before you can be subsumed by your doom.
Oh yeah. There's several doom signs I get to take and all that jazz. But I do want to make sure we get some doomy drama in this series. So I'm leaning hard on it.
Nice. All right. So at the end of every session, each character gets to choose one. You grew closer to the team. Explain who made you feel welcome. Grew into your own image of yourself. Explain how you see yourself and why. Or grew away from the team. Explain why you feel detached. Yeah.
All right, if I start.
Not at all.
I grew closer to the team, I think, and I'm going to give influence to Bravencia, whom I collaborated, as it were, on that, and showing up the night watch, right, by her between her trap and my showy saving of him. I feel like we had a good team moment there.
Excellent. Squall.
Yeah, I think I grew closer to the team. We all worked together really well in that melee with Buster, but I think the person who made me feel closer would be Gideon. He let me have the last shot, and he let me drive him away. Feel like he's really trusting me. So yeah, he gets influence over myself, which I think he already does.
Then, Gideon, you get to shift his labels.
Shifting Squall's labels. All right.
Or shift hers, sorry. Mixed up player and character pronouns.
Yeah. Mundane up and freak down, because you're not so unapproachable, it turns out. You've got a cool car, but you're letting me ride in it, so that's awesome.
Is he more approachable? How did that happen?
Le Rouge Renard, what happened with you?
Closer to the team, a doy. Prevencia, a double doy. So you get to shift my labels, since pretty sure everyone has influence over me, so.
Sorry about that, muted. Yes, I'm going to shift danger up, because you were first on the scene and like all about the fightiness, and I'm going to shift your mundane down, because I don't think you're so mundane. I think you're special.
Mundane is special, but fair.
It's got the power of heart.
Yeah.
Okay, and Bravencia.
All right. I would say closer to the team. And I always have trouble picking one person because everybody's so good and nice. But I do have to concur with Gideon about the the humiliation of the Pinkerton fellow. That was a really delightful thing. And seeing one of my gadgets like used by another teammate or in tandem with it made me feel a little bit less like my scienciness was not as cool as other people's fighty and magicness.
Look, with art, magic, and science put together, no one's going to beat us until I turn completely into ravens and disappear.
With all our
I'm not
powers
going to let that
combined.
happen. But yes. So I think you can shift my labels because I think you already have influence.
That sounds correct to me. Just double checking it. Yes, I do. Okay, cool. Yeah, I will move your I'll move your danger up and your I think danger up and superior down because you can be plenty dangerous when you put your mind to it.
Thank you.
All right. I think that does it. So last but certainly not least, my awesome partner put together a really. I was talking over the setting with him, masks in the 1890s, and he put together a cool map of what the United States would look like in this setting where California remained independent and such. So I'm posting a link here in the chat. I'm going to add it to the Character Keeper so you can check it out at your leisure there. Just wanted to thank everyone for a great first session, interesting characters, some fun NPCs to flesh out the world. I'd love to hear what you think about the map. I'll send you the details and things.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. See you all next week. And yeah, we can further the adventures of the... We need a team name.
Names are hard.
The team names are always the hardest.
Team names are very hard.
They really are. All right. Thank you all, and have a good night.
Have a good night, folks. Have a good Sunday, whatever, the rest of the weekend.